Hello there and welcome to a new vlog. Today we're exploring this area right in here. It's a nature reserve and it's supposed to be a stream, or it is a stream in there. I can hear it already from the road here. But it's supposed to be lots of different types of moss in there. So what I'm hoping is that the stream is inside a valley. And what I'm hoping is that there's lots of green or different types of moss just surrounding it and growing up on the trees and everything. That is kind of my vision for this area. So yeah, stay tuned and see what we're going to find. First and foremost, I need to fit my tripod to my backpack here. The reserve is called Norra Båsane Naturreservat and it's the long distance of 75 meters. Well, not that far, but that's just to the border, I think. And then we're gonna try to thread up and down the stream and see what we can find. So here is entrance to the reserve. So right here, this is the stream that is inside the valley that we're going to check out. And maybe I'll check out this as well, but as you can see from over here, this is wetland and well, it's not going to be that pretty. It's not really why I'm here, but this is why we're here. I'm gonna check this out. Looks like the trail only goes halfway up, but yeah, I'm really interested to see how this looks. It says there are 300 different types of moss in this reserve. With this many species in such a small area, it's very rare in Sweden, and very few places that can counter it or live up to the same level of diversity in the different types of moss. First impression here is that it isn't really as much water flowing as I thought and hoped that it would be. It's much more water standing still. And it's a local chap that found this area and did a lot of research on it, so yeah, really interesting. Up until today, over 338 species have been observed in this area. Yeah, interesting. It might be that I'm gonna have to come back to this location after a big rainfall or something like that, because there isn't really that much water right now. Still have some ice laying out in the landscape as well, though. If you see in here, we have some ice still laying in there. And we've had plenty of warm days, so it's really shielded in here, obviously. But down there, we have a small amount of water just laying still, not being very interesting at all, actually. So, I managed to make my way down to the stream at least, but as you can see right here, the water level is pretty low. I can see it should be, what is that, perhaps 20-30 centimeters higher than what it is. At least it has the capability of being that. And then we have a lot of, I don't know, it's really just brown. No other way to describe it really. It isn't that green, vibrant moss that I was hoping for. Perhaps higher up, we're going to continue following the stream a bit higher up to see what might be revealed higher up there. But summer or fall might be better for this. In summer, we'll probably have more green along the stream here, and during fall more oranges rather than the white, yellowish and brown color that we have now. So yeah, not really what I was hoping for, but still gonna continue exploring on. Now we're getting more along the lines of what I was looking for. A little bit more moss, more of a flowing stream. This is more of what I was expecting. I have to confess that this is quite impressive. This cliff wall here and the water here, it is impressive. It really is impressive. But honestly, right now I can't really say that I see any compositions with it. As I've already said, a lot of it is the colors in the landscape isn't really that impressive right now. So it might be that I need to come back here. I'm thinking that I should. And then I'm gonna take on my rubber boots as well, so I can stand in the water and frame something up there. But it is really impressive. With the right light, it might be good with an early morning or when the sun has risen kind of like 3 hours perhaps, and having the sun just blasting or hitting that wall there and it reflecting light over to the other side might be something. I'm not sure how easy that is going to be though. It's going to be very dappled since so many trees on that side as well. It kind of pains me not to be able to see a composition right now though, since it is so impressive. Yeah. So right over there, it seems the stream is kind of evening out and becoming dull once again. So this is as far up as it's necessary to go today at least. Also it's starting to rain a little bit, it seems. It's even starting to snow a little bit. That's just wrong. I'm so done with winter. I have to say that I'm really impressed by this cliff wall. But I can't see any compositions. No, not a single one. So I'm thinking I'm gonna try to frame up a composition here. And I have this pretty nice flow in the stream right there. I have a little bit of flow here in the foreground as well. And what I'm thinking is that I'm going to try to get quite a bit back so I can use a longer lens and compress the scene a little bit. Since a lot of the surrounding nature isn't looking really that good right now, thus just focusing in on the stream and just the surrounding rocks, and not really including the trees and the hills on this, or the on the sides basically, not including that, but just focusing in on the stream and the nice flow in the water. I think that is the best that I'm gonna get out of this location today, at least. So I managed to get a little bit further back, and I'm gonna do something unusual, actually start with setting up my tripod, and that is because I'm in the middle of the stream and it is a little bit slippery, at least, and I don't want to fiddle around too much, or I don't want to slip and fall and drop the camera in the water. It's not harder than that. So just gonna put the tripod down, and then I'm gonna put the camera on here. Wait a minute. Yeah, I'm gonna have to play around with this. I'm not sure whether or not I want to use portrait, or whether I want it to be vertical or horizontal. I have a preference for horizontal compositions, but when the composition demands it, I'll go vertical. And I'm photographing here with the 24-200. Gives me a nice versatility. Well, I don't want to include anything above this log line in the background there. That is kind of, this is the edge of what I'm going to include. And here, I don't really want to go beyond this part, at least, since there's nothing really of any real interest actually at the bottom of that rock. So trying to crop it somewhere like this. Now obviously the aspect ratio is a little bit wrong here, but still. So somewhere along a composition along this line, I think, would be good. Even though I'm including a little bit on the side here in horizontal mode, I still think it adds to the composition, since it draws the viewer in and it gives a little bit of context of where the stream actually is. Since I'm not including any of the background over here or any more of the foreground, I need to have some kind of relational element to the stream, some relationship for it to its environment, and including a little bit more on the sides here is going to add that. So I think I have the composition that I want here, and what is needed here is probably a polarizer and maybe an ND without any neutral density or polarizer. I'm getting exposure reading of 1/1.5 seconds. Actually, let's say half a second, just to be sure that I'm not blowing the highlights. So I have the filters right here, and well, let's see. No water drops on the front element yet, at least. Put that on. And that makes a huge difference in the mood of the image. Let me show you. There you can see we have basically no polarization. Now let me just screw it on. Look at that business. Just reducing the glare. And it makes the rocks and everything just that much more intense. So polarizer is really necessary for a scene like this. So there we have it. What kind of exposure times are we talking about? Well, about a second, which isn't really all that long. It isn't a raging river exactly. It's just a small, relaxed stream. So putting on a 3-stop ND filter there, and we're up to 8 seconds, and putting it on a self timer and taking the image. Now this is the first exposure. Will I nail it at once? I'm lacking a little bit of focus in the background, but that isn't really all that necessary for me, since I don't want too much attention on the background. So having that a little bit soft is going to decrease the interest in the background, and having a little bit more sharpness and even adding a bit more sharpness and clarity to the elements that I want your attention to go to is actually going to work in my favor in that sense. But I'm gonna grab an image at f16 as well, just to get a little bit more depth of field for the background, and then I can just blend in that. I'm not going to focus stack it because of the reasons that I said. I don't want more attention to be drawn into the background. But at f16 it's definitely what can be described as acceptably sharp in the background. And one thing that it could actually be a bit annoying is that branch over there. Yeah, this might be a very bad idea. It might be a very bad idea, yeah. But I'm gonna do that very bad idea. So 10 seconds should be, let's do 20 seconds. I'm gonna do this at f11, 1/8 of a second, and just reacquire focus where I want it. Yeah. So, oh, try not to disturb the tripod too much, and I'm gonna do like this. Ah! I'm just gonna hold the branches away from the camera. Not gonna break them, just kind of pulling it to the side, as you do with the ladies when they're vomiting. Just put the hair to the side and let it all come out. Oh, up, 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 up. Whoop, up, up. Whoop. Well, I'm not sure about you, but when doing things like this, the one thing that always is on my mind is Gavin Hardcastle. I mean, yeah, no man is better than falling on his ass over and over again for entertainment's sake than Gavin. And that is a compliment. It was actually better to remove it, so I'm gonna use that frame instead. gold I think I'm gonna find from this stream today. I'm gonna have a look further down as well to see, perhaps hike over to the other stream over at the wetland area that I showed you on the map. Just to kind of try and see if it could be anything there as well. Now then, yeah, let's head down and see if we can find anything more. I can hear flowing water over there. And this is the wetland area that I was talking about. And as I suspected, it isn't really that interesting. It rarely is. I can at least check out that flowing water over there. Might be interesting. Yeah. So I had a quick look at this little waterfall. Although it had some potential and it looked quite interesting in a sense, I found that there were a bit too many distractions surrounding it. It wasn't any better than the one that I photographed earlier. So yeah, sadly, it didn't work out. Now it's really starting to snow. Things that I did not think was going to happen today. Snow. I thought it was going to rain. Oh well. Oh well. So that's it for today. If you enjoyed this video, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it, and write a comment if you have any questions, and subscribe in order to stay tuned for more, and check out my adventure videos. They are so well produced, you really should watch them if you haven't already. And also my behind the composition videos, where I'm talking a little bit more in depth about compositions after I've framed them. So yeah, that's it. Until next time, goodbye. Get me out of this snöhöl.